Okay, hopefully this is working. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Lazy Mini Painting. Hopefully it's a scheduled stream that I've put up that's gone live, and not just one of them. But we find that out in a moment, don't we? When it emails me and tells me if I've got two streams running. Yes, I do. I have two streams running. I have both in portrait. That doesn't sound right. Let's go and have a look, shall we? Let's go have a look properly. And not just open up my image. Yeah, it's got both in portrait for some strange, bizarre reason. But the portrait one isn't in portrait. Okay. Is it the portrait that's in portrait? It is portrait that is in portrait, not just the normal portrait. That's just confused the living schnickles out of me. Thank you very much. Because it's absolutely amazing and has just given me a cup of tea. Because she's so kind. So who do we have in? It's just called portrait, right? Okay, I don't know why it's called portrait. It's messed up. So portrait, and then there's one called portrait, which is the actual portrait. Please don't ask it. I don't know either. But good evening, Graham. Thank you for calling in, mate. That one. Yes, that's the right one. Okay. So now that we've actually started, we've been going for a couple of minutes now. We are doing Combat Patrol issue 63. Now in this one we get the Acolyte hybrids. We learn about cult operatives, and we get the battlefield essential cards. So I'm just having a quick look. We do get a couple of scenarios at the back, which is good. Yeah. So in this issue, we'll be going through building. I'll talk through the painting section because I don't know what I'm going to do regarding painting, or if enough people are going to join and then somebody's going to win it and want it a certain paint scheme. We read about the cult operatives and collecting the gene stealers, so unit names, and for the Acolyte hybrids that we'll be making. And then the play is destroy the suppression field. So I don't know what that's going to be, but we'll find out eventually. First of all, though, we need to build them. So I'm actually going to put all these cards out of the way for a second because they're just going to get in my way if I don't. And I don't want to ruin any of them before I even look at them. So they can go down there out of the road for a moment, and boom. That's nice and done. Now I need a pair of snips, and the only ones I can currently find are my Games Workshop ones, which are the worst snips that I own completely. And just out of all of them, they are the worst snips I own. Right, okay, so the Acolyte leader is armed with an array of Tyranid biomorphs grown in the Patriarch's Genesis pool. So this one they give a bone sword and lash to, by the looks of it. Good evening, Twisted. Good evening. Hello and welcome in. I'm trying to find numbers. On all this, I'm trying to find numbers. So I need 13 and 6. Well, that's 13, that's good. That was nice and easily found. And then, because it's the Games Workshop snips, I'm being super careful with these at the moment. Because I don't want to clip off too much of stuff. And 6 is there. So we've got backs and fronts all around the same-ish area. They do hide those tiny little numbers as well, so this one's 6. Now that I've finally got round and found it. If there is any slight background noise, I do apologise. 'Tis the season of that programme. So for the next 3 weeks there is the potential. Where on earth did that just go? That just flew at least 5 or 6 foot through the air across the room. I'm going to put the big light on and find it now. That flew over here somewhere. Oh, why is the first one to clip out got to be the one that goes flying across the room? Ah, found it. It was in the toy box. Zing, literally right over the other side of the room. Not a good place for it to go flying. Okay, mold line remover. Just to make sure I get rid of mold lines and clip lines. Let's catch you in a bit. No worries, Graham. You go get some sleep. You've been working hard to get yourself ready for ChillCon, so you need some rest. And then we need glue. Of course we need glue. And it's going to be this section down here and this section down here, and then get the front the right way around, and they clip together quite nice and neat. So just smudge it over with your finger just to try and blend that line out, because essentially this glue does melt the layer of plastic, so you can get it together. So his legs are number 15. Yeah, that's not a good one. So that's 17. That's 16. There's 18, 15. There we go. It's easy when you're looking for something like legs and you know there's only 5 pairs of them. It does make it a lot easier just to look for the legs and then find out what the ones with the right number next to it. Right, so clip all them out, and then get the mold line remover again just to clean up these nasty little burrs that clipping has left behind. And then hopefully that will smooth that out so it's not as rough and dimpled as it was, or as it is at the moment anyway. There we go. Mold lines to a degree removed. I've not managed to get all of them because some of them are quite finicky, especially being underneath these robes. And then the torso glues to the legs. There is a dimple in it, so you can line it up and it will go nice and flush, so he's hunched over like he should be. You know, you can't really misalign this one. Good evening, Lee. Good evening. I'm wondering when you're going to do a Metcalf Council estate. That's going to be fun. If anyone's wondering what all this is, I spilt Agrax Earthshade. And a full bloody part of it. I have something just holding it down for the moment. He gets glued to the base. And then we clip out parts number 60 and 61, which is the sword and claw and the lash and claw. Well, the lash and claw is easy to find because there's 61. Although there are 2 lashes and claws. We'll go with the one it tells us to. Just stop the confusion. No, that's nice and easy because that's already come off. That's nice and crisp, and so is that one. This is the one that I'm worried about more than anything, because this is right on the whip. Pardon me. So we have a claw and a whip, which are The claw looks to be on the bottom, on the top, and the whip's on the bottom. And there's a very small section here, which I'm just going to move the mold line off to smooth it out. Try and get a better connection. And then this glues onto his left. His left. And then his arm gets glued on, if it will. That hopefully should be him. Yeah, reaching out with the claw. If I actually glued it on at the right spot, that would help. There we go, that's better. Reaching out with the claw and with his lash whip. So now I need to find, what is it, 60? So it's not a dagger like these, it's quite a big sword. $48, $46, $47, $62, $60. There we go. It's a big flat-headed sword there. And luckily this is only a 5-man unit, so hopefully it won't be going into the hours and hours and hours to put them together. If it does, then there's a good chance I'll be taking a break because my back's already started to ache. Which isn't exactly the best when you sat here trying to do stuff. And there's a nice big burr at the end of that blade as well that I need to get rid of. So let's get rid of that while we're at it. And Twisted's had quite a few premieres recently, so if anyone is wanting to watch how them Paragon Warsuits and other things are coming along, please go check out Twisted's channel. I'm not sure if any mods are in here at the moment to necessarily put that up, but there will be eventually. Now it's telling me I should put 33 on now. It gives you an absolute crap ton of heads. An absolute crap ton. Now it wants me to put 33 on, which is the one with the heart. But I kind of want to do the Cthulhu one. So I'm going to go for head number 29. There's loads of heads on there, so there's spares. So I'm going to go for head number 29. Just because I want the Cthulhu one. That is the technical term, by the way, the one. And then, yeah. Hopefully this will clean up nicely and go into the head socket. But yeah, he looks like he kind of look like an Ood from Doctor Who. And then he's got this nice little Ood face. Actually, let's zoom it in instead. Good evening, Francois. You have extra letters at the end of your name this time. But yeah, I've gone for the Oody face, and that is going to be the leader. Twisted does check out a lot of live streams. He's just into the hobby in general. So we have now got the Acolyte leader. What does he want us to build next? Now I know he's going to give us one with a rock saw, which is this one. Next one by the looks of it. And then one with a charge, and then 1, 2, 3 normal ones. Okay. Simple enough, really, isn't it? So the rock grinder is parts 4 and 10 for the fronts and the backs, and we know they're all close-ish together. Let's not fire number 4 across the room this time, and keep hold of both the front and the back of the piece as I clip it out, because I'm not that stupid to fire 2 of them across the frigging room. Well, he says. He's not actually clipped it out yet, but if I put my finger over the top of it, he can't fire that way at least. And it's got to drop down. Smart, see? So there's 4 done, and number 10 is up here. Oh, Sophie, hello. Hello. Today I am building the Acolyte hybrids for the GSC Acolyte. They come with issue 63 of the Combat Patrol magazine, if you've been collecting it. If you've not, it is a cheap way to get some units. Granted, we are in issue 63, you've missed most of the Combat Patrols at this point, unless you've already been collecting it, you've only just found the channel. But it came out today, so I get it home, I build it. Normally I would have had it built hours ago. About 11 or so hours ago I would have started, but well, I was a bit late today, so I'm doing it at what I would classify as my usual times. So it's 5 Acolyte hybrids for this one. Now next week I will take a break on the Wednesday because it's a double issue, and I'll cover both of those issues on the following week because they're both builds. Chat boy, hello. What I'm doing, I am building GSC Acolyte models for a Warhammer 40,000 Combat Patrol. Now, to some people that means absolutely nothing, and to some people that means a whole heap. And it could be either. But I am trying to put these together and it is not being very nice to me. Because this bit is supposed to slot into there and it is not doing. Because of what? Is there a little nubbly bit that's stopping it? Yeah, there's that little nubbly bit there that was stopping it. So let's see if this dry fits quicker and better. Or do I have it upside? No, I don't have it upside down. And this is saying, yeah, 10 and 4 should go together. And you should be leaning forward. And that is not joining. Why are you not joining? There's something in the way. That's just not letting me. And let's see if that dry fits now that I've just removed a little bit more plastic. There we go, that's better. Just removed a little bit of plastic from the inside and now it's gluing up a lot better. Apart from asking what I'm doing, if you've got any more questions about what it is I'm doing, please feel free to ask. What I'm doing is the answer may not actually answer the question you was asked. You might raise more questions than it actually answers. So then going through asking like, okay, so what's a GSC Acolyte then? I'll explain. If you are in the other chat, which is it's labelled as portrait, not portrait. This, don't ask, I don't know. But there are also people in there that will be willing to answer questions for you as well, if you was to ask. I'll probably respond quicker than I do, in fairness. Mainly because I don't always keep track of both chats constantly while I'm concentrating on getting models out. 17 is his legs. 14, 18, 17, that one there. So once I've finished building these 5, I'll talk through how the magazine wants you to paint it. I'm going to leave them unpainted for now because I'm not sure as to what will be happening with them. And if there's enough members on Patreon, then I will do it as a Patreon giveaway. And whoever wins gets to decide whether or not I paint them or they paint them themselves. And that will be open internationally as well. So I'll ship to America or Australia, wherever you are. But again, the target is for 8 Patreon members. 8, that is it. Not a huge target, I know. But it's a target that's big enough. Right, so we've got his torso, we've got his legs. We need to attach him to a base. Which is a little bit of glue on the bottom there and a little bit of glue on the bottom of his foot. And plop him on his base and hopefully he's going to stand up. Now I'm going to move him a bit further back because he has got the big rock cutter raw thing. Which is 77 and 70. I don't know why I'm pointing there, you can't actually see on the camera. But if I bring it up here, it's the big circular saw section here and then the other side to it, which shouldn't be too far away. There we go. The other side to it. So it's those 2 sections to make the big rock cutter. Which of course is, one side is held by 2 arms and the other side is held by 1. Not sure what the 3-arm thing's all about, but they seem to enjoy it. Who am I to criticise? Well, I'm a human who doesn't want to get nom-nommed. That's who I am. And these people want us to get nom-nommed. Right up until they realise we're going to get nom-nommed and then they change their mind. Bit late. You've called the Devourer. The Devourer has arrived and now you've changed your mind. Because you realise you're on the menu, boys. So dry fit it first again, just to make sure it bloody fits. So we don't have the issue we had a minute ago. Yeah, that's going fine. In fact, that's a bit too snug. Small little bit of glue in and then press together again, so we've actually got it joined this time. One and over. This is a live channel where I make, put together, paint various different models, dioramas for multiple game systems. Well, 2 game systems majority, mostly Warhammer 40,000 and Dungeons and Dragons. This time it's Warhammer 40,000. I'm covering the Combat Patrol magazine. That's up to issue 63 over here in the UK. I'm not sure what issue it's up to elsewhere in the world because I know they have released it across many other places. I'm just not sure what issue they're up to. But I think I've only missed 2 issues so far. And this is the 2nd issue for the Gene Stealer Cults, where you actually get models. Last issue we got 2 paints. Which isn't very fun. I mean, paints are useful, don't get me wrong. You will use them, and they will come in very handy, but they're not the most exciting issues when other issues you get full units of Terminators, or in this case Acolyte hybrids, or a Hellbrute, or some of the nicer stuff. It's like, yeah, I want the models, I don't just want the paints. The paints are all fun, but the models are the standout bit. So next I need this section, which is 76. No, it can't be, because that's the wrong arm to be. No, that's the wrong arm, so it can't be 7. So that's where's 76 then? I've just clipped out the wrong piece because I'm an idiot. And I wasn't paying attention, I was too busy talking. $76. Little help. There's 71, there's 73. There's 74, there's 78. 1656, no. Let's have a different spin around in perspective, because we know it's going to have a handle on it. It's just, where the bleeding hell is it? 76, there it is. Right at the edge. Right at the bleeding edge. No, it's essentially the same as the arm I've just chopped off, just the left version instead of the right. So this should be the right arm this time. There we go. Yeah, that's the right arm. So, little glue on his shoulder. Now this goes in on here. And there is a little notch for it to go into, a little nubby hole on top of the actual grinder, so his hand will fit in and line itself up. Spare arm bit I didn't mean to use. Right. Now it wants a head. It says we use 37. No, I'll use 30. Yeah, I'll use 37. It's got goggles on it. It looks sufficient for a rock grinder model. We'll stick 37 on him. I think it's a him. I can't tell. They're all alien now, so you can't actually tell which one's a male and which one's a female, except for the Magus, which is very, very much female. Just the stance, the stature, and everything about her just reeks female. There's no getting away from it. So we have the rock grinder thing, saw, angle grinder, whatever you want to call it, and we have a leader. Now we want to go on to the guy with the demolition charges. 5 and 9 for the torso. At least I know where they are now. He says losing number 5. There we go. There's number 5. Oh, so you have the snips the right way around, Lars. It does help if you have the snips the right way around. 5 and 9. So some people will have this, might have the sprue, but might not have the instructions. If I read them out as I'm doing it, at least then you can go, oh, I didn't have the instructions for them, now I can go do it. Yes, you can. Now, these are all telling me a specific way to build them, so if you were to build them as a different setup, then you can. This is just how the Combat Patrol, or the old Combat Patrol, wish to be set up to play that game system. And his legs are number 18. Why is it never the first set that I'll look at or find? 18, there we go. Clip, 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 and more clipping. And then hopefully that will be perfectly ready to go. Which is glue the torso on. Again, it's got a little nubbly bit there, so you can't really mess gluing the torsos up on these ones. It just slots on. Then you wiggle it around till it's flush. Once you've wiggled it round so it's flush, that's how you know you've got it right. And then he wants a base as well. So, bottom of that foot and just the toes on that one. There we go. And then it's 67 and 68. And they're both arms holding things. So there's 68, which is his double arm with looks like TNT in one hand and a detonator in the other. And the other hand, which should be a single arm, will have TNT in it. Yes, I do, Blazilla. How you doing, man? How you doing? Welcome back. Thank you very much for coming to join us. We are on for GSC Acolyte tonight from the Combat Patrol magazine. We've done two. We've done the leader and the one with the big circular saw thing. And now we're on for the one that looks like he wants to blow everything up. Because he's got dynamite in 2 of his 3 hands. I've just got to find the last one, which is 67, which is the single arm with dynamite in it. Now, I'm looking at it upside down, so that shouldn't. That's just going to make it a whole lot easier, isn't it? 67. There we go. Oh yes, I do remember. I do remember. Most names I'll recognise, especially if you've been in recently over a couple of streams. I mean, if the last stream you came to was 3 years ago, I'm sorry, I might not but you were only in the other week, so yeah, of course I remember. So we want his singular arm on that side. And it's just not for staying in anywhere near the right position. So let's just put him down and there we go. And then across the double shoulder joint there. And then from there onto where that double shoulder joint should meet up with the other side of his body. In theory, if it doesn't keep falling off like it is doing. There we go. And then we just need a head, which this is saying put 36 on him. Well, this one looks like he wants to blow stuff up, so I want a bit of a special head on him. So he wants what, 36, which is quite a plain head, really. I'm going to go for 30 instead. I like the look of 30 instead. The good thing is about these heads being interchangeable, you can just decide, no, I'm not doing that one. I'm going to do a different one. And then just clip that off and put it in. Pretty much similar with Space Marine helmets and a lot of general infantry heads. They are quite interchangeable. That gives him a nice big brain bit on the back of his head. He's smart, he knows where to put the explosives, see? Next one is just 2 standard guys with an auto pistol, a knife and claws. So this one is parts 1 and 7 and then 14 for the legs. Oh, keeping your throat lubricated is nice. Hydration is good. So we want one, which is right here. Make sure you've got your snips in however comfortable position and direction you wish to use them. And these are still the worst snips that I bleeding own. I'm not paying the price for a set of God hands though. as good as those snips are supposed to be, they're very expensive. Don't get me wrong, I will take a Christmas present, and if someone goes, I'll get them, you stick them on your wish list, I'll do it, but no. That is a cost and a half, that is, for a pair of snips. The blue ones are alright, I just don't know where they are. So there's part 1. Part 7 should be in the same area. Seven. Right, I've only done 3 so far. That one tells me to use 9. That one told me to use 13. And that one told me to use 10. Ah! I clipped out 7, not 10. That'll be why I had awkwardness putting them together. But it just goes to show with a little bit of modification, they can still work. Oh dear me, there we go, and we have the back. Do we need that page anymore? No, don't need that page anymore. I'm okay, I can get rid of it. So let's just dry fit to make sure we're getting, because again we're going to have a similar problem to what we had with the other one, which then when I have to cut this little bit out because I used the other side and it would have lined up better, and it doesn't this time. So I'm going to have to remove a little bit of plastic because I made a mistake. I will admit I made a mistake and I'll go back and correct it. But in this case, you've got to really cut out this chunk of plastic, otherwise it just doesn't fit. And there we go. There we go. Nice flush fit now. I've removed that. So gluing down the side, and pop it on again. And then smooth it out with your fingers just to try and get rid of any lines. And we have a torso. Legs are legs number 14. And there can't be too many legs left now. So there's 16. Of course, I find 16 before I find 14, which is that. Well, again, I hope everyone's been having a good week so far. I'm looking forward to how they're going to want us to paint these GSC Acolytes, just to see what colour scheme they think should go on it. No worries, no worries. No worries, if you're busy, mate, that's fine. If you wish to use me on in the background, I have no problem. This is pretty much why I don't shut up. So people who do have me on in the background, I am actually saying something and as well as doing something. So line him up so he's nice and hunched again. Get the base. Now he's got the smallest feet connection out of all of them so far. Very, very tiny. To the degree I'm not sure they'll actually hold him up without a bit of help. Oh, so he's good. He's got to work. It's working. Just got to hold it in place. Don't forget to pop the link for that in the other people's channel section, please, Lee. My memory is the worst thing that I've got. You already know this. Alright, so we want 41 and 45. And there's lots of different. So 45 is his left and it's a double arm. Where the bloody hell's 45? There's 47. Oh, there's 45. That one there. So, there we go. Let's snip these bits out. There's only 3 connection points on this one. Just try not to leave any burrs or anything on them if we can avoid it. Let's give a double check over any of the connection points. See if there's anywhere that we need to really worry about, like the shoulder bit there, which does have quite a nice nasty burr on it, which will stop it from sitting flush. And then dagger and claw for his left arm. Thank you, Lee. So this is the double arm. And hopefully that's going to sit relatively flush on here, so that when I let go, it doesn't flap over. And it's 41 for the auto pistol, which is right there. So now we get to do this, and then there's just one more guy left to put together. That's nice. It's only taken us 40 minutes. I've been freezing all day and now I'm roasting. Why? I don't understand it. I really don't get it. Freezing all day. Now that the sun goes down and I'm not sat in all my warm stuff, I'm now roasting. And now I need a head for him. So which head do I like the look of? I want them all to have a little bit of uniqueness to them. So I don't particularly want to use just the normal bald flat heads if I can. I want a little bit of texture on there just so I can make them all stand out. So in this case, this one's getting the horn, whereas the leader's got the spaghetti face. This guy's going to get the horn, and the last guy's going to get like the Klingon ridgy things up at the top of his head. But that's the last guy. This guy got to go first. And then let's see how it goes. So there we go. That's number 4 now. And then last one. Last one. So 2 and 7. 7 again. 7. I can't do 7 twice. So it's either 12, 11, or 8. So I'm going to guess that it's actually 11 in this case, because it has the same lineup that 7 had for the dimples. So I'm going to go with it's 11 for this one, because you can't have two. You only got 2 7s. You've only got 1 7, and it's telling you to use it twice. It does that a lot. This magazine it gives you slightly incorrect things. And number 2. Which we do have. That is correct. But 7 seems to be 11, or 11 seems to be 7, whichever way around it is. So if you are wondering why haven't you got 2 of them, you're not supposed to have 2 of them. They've messed up on the printing again. Becoming a common occurrence. I know that much. Right now I've got to gouge plastic out of this again. Just to get it to... Yep. There's a little nub of plastic inside it that you've just got to snip out. Because of that, you can put any front to any back that you want. Just don't drop them or fire them across the room like I've done. I could have just gone and got a different front instead of going walking across the room to find it, but I'd clipped it out by that point, and I wanted to use it, so I went and found it. Right. There's only one pair of legs left, so it has to be those ones, which is 16. Yes! And you've got it right this time on the number as well. That foot needs cleaning up. That's just that one, so let's get the mold line on this one. That might actually need a blade on that, jeez. I'll have to take off chunks of plastic with it. There we go, that's better. Anywhere else that is so blatant that even I would have to get it. In this case, yes, down the inside of his legs. Torso and body. Torso and legs, and then everything onto the base. And then from there it's arms and a head. Now these are all squatted over like the old Orcs style used to be. Like bums out, shoulders forward, big hunch. So for arms it's 46 and 43. I don't suppose it really matters in this case as long as we get them a left and a right section. But it's a standard blade and an auto pistol. And hopefully we actually got to get to see what all this does. That's 46 and 43, 43, 44, 54, 53, 43. There we go. Next to something else that looks like some kind of industrial mining equipment. I know we do get the rock grinder as well with the Gene Stealer Colts. That's going to be interesting. Going to be a nice model. Right, he said 43 was supposed to be a right arm. Well, 43 was quite obviously a left. So I need 44 or 40. I'm going to go with 40. Because at least that's the correct arm. And it's not in too bad of a position. I think the only thing you're missing to make even more are legs in this case. You actually have enough on here to make quite a few models. You just don't have the legs for it. So if you've got some kind of legs that could proxy in and fit these quite nicely, then by all means go for it and build yourself up an even bigger squad. Because you do have extra torsos, extra legs, extra weapons, extra everythings except for legs. That's actually a good point. That the magazine wants him kind of pointing the pistol a bit further up in the air. No, I chose the right one, they just labelled it bloody wrong again. It's 40, not 43. For his pistol arm. His sword arm is correct, but his pistol arm is not. So sword and claw on his left, pistol on his right, and I wanted the nubbly helm, the nubbly bit down. So all the heads are different. And that leaves me extra heads for other things. No, arms falling off, heads falling out. Ah, it's all going Pete Tong. It's all going Pete Tong. It's not good. Auto pistols, claw and dagger, which there are 2 of. And then that is all 5 neophyte hybrids, acolyte hybrids. Now it's going to tell us how to paint them, or how it wants us to paint them. As I said, I will not be painting these until I found out what's happening through Patreon. So it's got to be a few weeks left, probably maybe even over a month. Well, the first thing it's going to do, as normal, is base coat black. Then for a skin tone, they want you to go for Macragge blue. Any of the armor plating is Administratum grey, and then wristbands, bombs, cloaks. What else are they doing in Mephiston red? No, some pipes and visors in Mephiston red. You have Wraithbone for hands and faces, and the little Tyrannid dimples in little skin sections. They're all Wraithbone. Catachan flesh for any of the brown pieces. Leadbelcher, of course, for any of the steel and metallic pieces, as well as any pistols and guns. Screamer pink for the tongues. Corax white for the bone sword that the leader's got. And then we hit Retributor armor, which is the top of the grinder, the lights on the shoulders, the symbol for Genestealer Acolytes themselves, which is round there and is basically dangling around his crotch. Avalon Sunset for the tank on the big grinder. Caliban green for the actual whip this time. Baden black for the claws and for anything around the visors. They're going to go through quite a lot on this because we do have quite a lot of paints now, so we should get most of the way through. Now we're on for shading. So Null all the grey and armour sections, as well as the whip. Coeli green shade on the trousers and the bone sword. Caribou crimson on all the Wraithbone flesh sections. Reichland flesh on all the leather and gold and yellow. And then we come back into highlights now. So you've base coated, you've washed it, now you're going to bring those highlights back up. So Mephiston red on the cloak, just to bring out the higher layers. Again, with going back in with Calgar blue over the armor platings, just to again bring out those higher layers. Stormhost silver on the Retributor armor, just round like the bolt sections. Bring it a bit closer, so as it has bolts holding it in, just edge highlighting around those, and then Questor Nightflesh to edge highlight all the leather. Pallid Witch Flesh to go back over the actual hands, and then Pink Horror to highlight the tongue. Mechanicus standard grey for any black areas. So that includes claws, any wires, any fuses. You're going to highlight from Caliban green up to Auric green for the actual whip, and then Wild Rider red over the cloaks, just as a very last touch highlight. You're going to go over with Mephiston red, wash it down, re-go over with Mephiston red, and then bring it up with Wild Rider. And then highlight any folded areas, tears in the trousers with Corax white, using the very tip of your brush if you can. And if you followed their instructions, you should have models that look something like these. So you've got the guy with the grenade, with the TNT, got the grinder, the leader, and then the two with just pistols and blades. Quite easy to put together, not too complicated on the paint job if you put the time in, of course. And now that we've built them, what are the cult operatives? Reading section. My mouth's going dry. I need a stretch. I'm not going to lie to you all, I need a stretch. So, we find a piece of paper, and we get a pen, and on it we put B, back, soon. And we leave that there, and I'm going to put some music on for you all to listen to while I just go and stretch my back a little. Because otherwise I'm going to be in pain and I'm not going to get through the reading. So let's mute me first and then put the music on, yeah?
Crowded show, flooding lights in the undertow. Every face was a mirrored flame, every voice still calls my name. We were sparks against the dark, every lyric lit a mark. Still I feel it, still it stays, calling through the the sound remains. Every song still runs in our veins. We'll never fade, we'll never fold. These echoes never get old. Screaming suburban skies. Dreams too big for a town this size. Every street feels like a cage. Every mile is another stage. We're burning faster than the ground. Every silence makes a sound. Chasing signals out of sight. Runaway hearts into the night. Like runaway satellites we fly. Breaking free from the weight of time. Every orbit pulls.
Well, some of you are going, no, that's the wrong way around, lads. That's not the way you're supposed to wear a hat. This is the way I wear a hat. When I'm on screen, anyway. So before I rudely interrupted myself by having to go stand and walk around for a little bit, well, we've got to read this, won't we? Which is Cult Operatives. Genestealer cultists operate in the shadows, fighting a carefully orchestrated war against the planet's rulers. Their ranks include a number of skilled operatives whose unique Xenos biology, guerrilla training, and sheer zealotry grants them a host of abilities vital to the cult's insurrection. Okay. Working together, they are a dire threat. Yep, I can see how that might be the case. Often outnumbered and outgunned by Imperial forces, Genestealer cults make use of many highly specialised operatives who use devious tactics to wage a guerrilla war from the shadows. Sabotage, concealed explosions, and biological weapons cause horrendous casualties, allowing a relatively small number of cultists to take on a much larger and better armed enemy force. Destroyed bridges, collapsed buildings, and undermined roads funnel the enemy into predetermined kill zones where they are vulnerable to attack. Good evening, Buzzard. How you doing, mate? You alright? A combination of unique genetic traits imparted by their Xenos DNA and intensive training allows cult operatives to excel in their given roles. Some specialise in strategy and coordinate the cult's efforts from afar, while others are skilled gunfighters, inspiring their brethren with their heroics and leading from the front. Some are experts in hacking Vox networks, sowing misinformation amongst the populace, or cutting out enemy communications. Whatever their role, each works to further the cause of the Patriarch and the cult. And it does give us a little glimpse of someone that looks quite cool down here, with a very nice blade, some clawed hands, and what looks to be like some kind of poisonous pistol. The Primus is a brilliant tactician and military commander who leads the cult in its battles to wrest control of the host planet. So that's the HQ model. Okay, that's nice. That's nice to know. I might be able to kit bash one of them out of other parts eventually. Because it looks like he's got kind of Astra Militarum legs rather than full-on Genestealer legs. Rip that a little bit in the corner of the page because it always makes me. So, Shadow Operatives. First of all, we get the Reductus Saboteur. Why they've got to write it in that silly font, I don't know, but they have. Many cultists are expert saboteurs and demolitions experts. They use their knowledge of explosives to carry out attacks on comm centres, apothecary relays, power stations, and other vital infrastructures, disrupting the enemy's ability to coordinate their defences. When the time comes for open war, Reductus saboteurs mine areas of the battlefield, lay booby traps in buildings, and conceal improvised explosives. Such tactics can cause massive devastation to enemy forces, more than making up for the cult's comparative lack of numbers and heavy ordnance. Then you get the Sanctus. Sanctuses are master assassins, who often work alone. They operate with great stealth, infiltrating enemy strongholds to seek out their targets and strike them down with precision. They know that a simple single, well-chosen death can often change the fate of a world. Political and religious leaders, military commanders, and those who simply know too much about the cult's activity have all fallen into a silent blade in the dark, or a single shot fired from the shadows before they were even aware of danger. Then we get the Biophagus. Some of these names they come up with, I don't know where they get them from, but they're crazy. Those known as Biophaguses are some of the most unusual specialists within the cult. Skilled in science and the alchemical arts, they conduct a variety or concoct a variety of elixirs and combat stims that enhance the strength and ferocity of other cultists in battle. They often spend many years studying forbidden sciences, developing virulent mutagenic compounds, highly corrosive bioacids, and deadly chemical agents with which to wage biological warfare against the host planet's population. Many pose as medical specialists, where they can use their positions of authority to experiment on the populace. So, mad doctors. Completely start raving lunatic doctors. Right. And then we get the locusts. Possessed of preternatural reflexes and great agility, locusts are lightning-fast warriors who spring into action with a sudden outburst of violence. They often serve as bodyguards to high-ranking members of the cult and other important figures, where they use their skills to strike down threats and thwart would-be assassins. Their heavy robes conceal inhuman bodies, with multiple limbs and barbed, prehensile tails, marking them out as favoured prodigy of their alien god. Oh, so the locusts have tails. That's the only ones that have tails. I do like the look of the assassin. Probably the best model out of all of them, which is that one, the assassin, in my opinion, obviously. So next one's the Genestealer Occult unit names. Now, where did I put the dice? Where did I put my dice? Please don't tell me they fell down there. If they fell down there, it's going to be a while before I find them again. Okay, so naming your models and units is a great way to build a connection with them and create exciting narratives. You can use these tables to generate names for your Genestealer Occult units, including the ones in Warhammer 40,000 Combat Patrol Collection and any you add to your army in the future. So in this case, you roll 2d6. So you roll 1d6 and pick the row, and then you roll another d6 and pick the column. So in this case, they give us an example. So the first one, they roll a 3, which would go row 3. So it could be any of those names. And then they roll a 4, which brings us to Trisco. The table over the page allows you to name individual models, ideal for adding personality to characters and unit leaders of your army, as well as units. Either roll randomly at the table or choose the name that appeals to you the most. That's simple enough. Roll or pick. So in this case, we're going to go in for the Acolyte hybrids. So the cultist names, and you have an absolute shed load of them. So in this case, I'm going to pick 2, then 5. So 2, then 5. So Yinst. Okay. Each cultist has it. So although linked by the broodmind, each cultist retains a sense of individuality, as well as their own name. Use these tables to generate names for characters and unit leaders in your Genestealer Cult's army. So you use that over and over and over again. Bands of cultists will work together as tight-knit units. Their brood telepathy gives them the kind of coordination normally only found in well-drilled military forces. Such units take their names from the religious texts and symbols that form the foundation of the cultist belief. Use the table below to generate the unit's name. So you can get things like the Star Saved, Gene Chosen, Brunkin, Broodkin, Swift Claws. There's 36 different names. 36 different names that you can either randomly generate or just name them if you choose to. And then obviously we get the backgrounds, which we'll always get for them all. So again, rolling a dice. If you get 1 or 2, these acolytes specialise in terror raids, striking in the dead of night and using their horrifying appearance as a weapon to instill fear and dread in their enemies. If you rolled a 3 or a 4, these acolytes were amongst the first born into the cult, and they are regarded as revered elders by their brethren. They are living proof of the covenant of the Star Children. Fair enough on that one as well. They're old. Days old, right? Okay. Or if you roll a 5 or a 6, after years of hiding away, these acolytes dive into the thickest fighting, where they can vent their frustrations upon the enemy in bouts of unrestrained violence. I like the sound of the last one. Gotta say, I do like the sound of the last one. So now you've named your hybrids, you've got the background for your hybrids, and you've got the name for your leader. Let's have a look at what these things actually do. I'll zoom in a bit so we can see. Okay, so we have a movement of 6 and a toughness of 4. That's not bad for these. Normally there's a toughness of 3 for something humanoid, unless you're a genetically modified super soldier like a space marine. Save is a 5+, which isn't great. Let's face it, it's not great. 1 wound each, so they're dying pretty quickly if they get past that save. Leadership 7 and an objective control of 2. So out of a 5-man unit, that's 10. Okay, so we know we have 2 equipped with auto pistols, is it? Yeah, we have 2 equipped with auto pistols and 1 equipped with demolition charges. Auto pistols, 12-inch range, standard pistol, 1 shot. Hitting on a 4, strength 3, no AP, 1 damage. It's pretty standard as an auto pistol, las pistol, low grade pistol weapon. Demolition charges, on the other hand, they do have the assault keyword, as well as the blast keyword, the hazardous keyword, and the 1-shot keyword, which means you can only use it once per battle. It's got 6-inch range, so you're gonna be right up in front of them. It's D6 plus 3 attacks, and that can go up even higher if it's a big unit you're throwing out. Hits on a 5+, not great, but at least it's not assist. It is pretty fun, isn't it, Twisted, the fact that it includes all the naming stuff and the background and stuff, so you can create your own lore for your own little warband. Or was it? Oh yeah, hitting on 5+. It is Orc ballistic skill. However, whopping strength 12, minus 2 AP and 2 damage. That can do a lot of damage if you do hit, especially with a minimum of 4 shots. Minimum of 4 shots. Then we get to the actual melee weapons. So we have 1, 2. I'd actually say 3 because of the guy with the demolition charges. Have Cult Claws and Knife. 3 attacks, hitting on 3s, strength 4, minus 1 AP and 1 damage. That isn't too bad for a basic level weapon. We also have the Mining Tool, which is the second one down. Again, melee, only 2 attacks this time. Hitting on 3s. Strength 10, so it is punching quite hard. Minus 2 AP and a flat 3 damage. Not bad against some models and units, not so great against others. And you've got the leader's cult weapons. Again, melee is the range. Attacks, he gets 5, hitting on 3s again. But this time it's at strength 5, minus 2 AP and 1 damage. So they could do a fair amount of damage, particularly something standard infantry wise. So anything from intercessors downwards, guardsmen, Eldari, guard, Tau pathfinders, they're gonna do pretty well in melee against anything that's light. Obviously, the mining tool lets them punch up a little bit to the stuff that's heavier, but really you're going to want to be throwing these into the light units. AP is going to shred them, and you want to make use of the 1 damage on 1 infantry, on 1 wound infantry. So what does it give us as a scenario? I know it's give us new terrain pieces. I know this because they're in that little pile down there. So, scenario 39. Destroy the suppression field. The Magus surveyed the cavernous generator room under the Imperial Research Facility, her face contorted with frustration and discomfort. The uprising had been going to plan, and the facility had fallen easily, isolating its power generators and inciting mutiny amongst the Astra Militarum guards paid to that. Yet, somehow, a low thrum of energy coursed through the machinery, and the emergency lights, both yet clinging to life. She pressed her fingers to her temple and lifted her stave. A brief, momentary crack of psychic energy sparked between her fingers and the weapon before fading. Come, Acolytes, there must be a secondary source of power. It is vital that the psychic suppressant is deactivated in anticipation of Ascension Day. The Acolyte hybrid scattered into the dark recesses of the generator room. Individual tools screaming and grinding as they took to cleaving through the power cables that still remained intact after the frenzied sabotage of the days before. An explosion rocked the chamber from the far side of the hall. The Magus dared hope that one of her acolytes had perhaps cut straight into the backup generator, but hope was short-lived. As the smoke dissipated, the unmistakable silhouette of heretic Astartes could be seen lumbering through the breach in the rockcrete walls. It seemed that matters were now far more complicated. Acolytes, repel these intruders, she cried. For the star, children! Nice. Joey! What is up, bro? What's up, homie? You okay? You had a good day? I hope you have. You might still be in work now, but I hope you've had a good day. So for this situation, set up the battlefield as shown on the oval east, placing a total of 4 terrain cards with the battlefield debris, area terrain or barricade keyword as shown. Then place an objective marker in the centre of the map. Okay, so we need to sort this out and find out what map we're using, and then what we're going to have to take with us. Okay, so we're using battle map 1, but we'll be using some of the new terrain pieces, I believe. Are we using any of the new terrain pieces? No, we are not using the new terrain pieces. We are using the older terrain pieces, but all of them need to have the barricade rule. They can't be anything like the big tyrannid points or anything like that. And then we get the Chaos Space Marine deployment zone. Get it in picture on the portrait one. So we get the Chaos Space Marine deployment zone up here, and the Genestealer Cult's deployment zone down there. For deployment, the Genestealer Cult player deploys 5 Acolyte hybrids and 1 Magus in their deployment area. Then the Chaos Space Marine player deploys 1 Hellbrute and 1 unit of 2 Chaos Space Marine Legionaries in their deployment zone. Players roll off to decide which player takes the first turn. How to win. At the end of each battle round, the player whose army controls the objective marker gains 1 victory point. The battle lasts 4 battle rounds. The player with the most victory points at the end of the 4th battle round is the winner. If it is tied for victory points after 4 battle rounds, then it is a draw. Well, this time they're going to let us use some abilities, or datasheet abilities that it's going to let us use. So you may have noticed that one of your Acolyte hybrids is carrying explosives. Yeah, I did. He's got 2 stacks of TNT and a detonator. He's great. These are demolition charges. While these weapons have incredibly short range of 6 inches, they are devastatingly powerful and designed to cut down a large target with relative ease, especially if you roll high when generating a number of attacks. However, to compensate for this weapon has the one-shot keyword. This means that your unit can only use this weapon once per game. Consider saving this for the toughest target with the highest number of wounds. In this scenario, that would be the imposing Hellbrutes. We also get Vile Insurrectionists. Your Acolyte hybrids have an additional datasheet ability called Vile Insurrectionists. This rule allows your unit to re-roll hit rolls of 1. Additionally, if an enemy unit is within range of an objective marker when you make your attacks, you can re-roll wound rolls of 1 too. This makes your unit far more reliable when attempting to capture and secure objectives. It also means that the usual 5+ hit roll for your demolition charges is suddenly a lot more forgiving. Yeah, that's a lot more forgiving, being able to reroll ones when it's 5+ to hit. In the example above, which is this one, the Genestealer Cult player rolls a d6 and gets 5 when generating their attack value. This gives the Acolyte hybrid a total of 8 attacks with their one-shot weapon, the Demolition Charge. After playing through the combat sequence and utilising the Vile Insurrection rule to reroll hit rolls and wound rolls of 1, the Demolition Charge results in 4 successful wounds that must be saved by the Hellbrute. The Hellbrute only makes 1 successful save and is dealt 6 damage, leaving it almost completely destroyed and vulnerable to attack from the rest of the unit. So yeah, smack it with the big thing first, and then see what the rest mop up. Again, this is going to be the if you win. If Chaos wins, planet falls to Chaos. Genestealer Cults are wiped out, everyone gets sacrificed to the Dark Gods. All 4 gods are happy. If Genestealer Cults win, the Chaos are repelled. They manage to sacrifice the planet to the Star Children and then wake up to realise, oh crap, we've just invited a bunch of aliens to an all-you-can-eat buffet and we're the buffet. They don't know that until it's a bit too late, but that's how it works out. So that's this issue done. Hour and a half, that was not bad at all. What are we getting in the next 2 issues? Well, we already know what we're getting in the next issues. We're getting the Neophyte hybrids instead of the Acolyte hybrids. Now, these are the more human-looking ones that are going to have things like auto guns, stubbers, and things like that. And it is a unit of 10, so it's going to be spread over 2 issues. As I said, next week I will not be covering issue 64. I will wait till issue 65 and cover them both together the week after. So I will be missing next week. I do apologise for anyone who does enjoy these. Now that we've gone through the magazine, we did get extra stuff with this issue. Some of you have heard me mention we got terrain, and we did. We got a few more terrain cards. Well, let's pop them out so we can see actually what's on them. So in this one, it's a kind of fallen reactor, which is blocked off there as impassable terrain. There is the opposite side without being coloured green, which means I'm going to guess it's going to be the lay down one coloured green on this one. Yeah, there we go. So it's just the lay down side this time, but with those on. Again, impassable terrain. And then we get 2 which are barricades on this sheet. I think we get some more on the other sheet as well, actually, so I'll have a look at that in a moment. So we get 2 which are barricades. So we can either have 2 that are kind of like the Aegis defense line, or 2 that are kind of ammo crates. And again, ammo crates or Aegis defense line. So you can double up on those ones, which isn't bad. Just so you can put 2 quick. There we go. We've got just an Aegis defense line very quickly put together. And that little line there shows the area you need to be in, but it's essentially the same piece again with that one as well, same piece, but one shows the actual area. Ooh, brownie scouts. You're off work, you're smoking it up, you are chilling, you are living the life, my friend. You are living the life. And the final piece of terrain, which again is another impassable piece. Which is a generator stack. Again, if you flick it over, it shows you the green section, which shows you it's impassable, you can't walk through. Put them with the other cards. Now, we do get a lot of other stuff, such as the faction abilities, the enhancements, the stratagems, and all the other stuff, nice stuff that goes with the GSC Acolyte. Well, let's have a look through these. So, playing as the GSC Acolyte. So, your oh, this is Eldar. This is Eldari. And Azurani. So, enhancement for the Farseer. Foresight, Psychic. Once per turn, you can target the bearer's unit with the Fire Overwatch stratagem for 0 CP. If the bearer's unit is within range of an objective marker you control, hits are scored on an unmodified hit roll of 4+, while resolving the stratagem. Otherwise, hits are scored on an unmodified roll of 5+, which is better than everybody else because they all get 6+. However, if you wish to choose the other one, which is Eldritch Might, each time the bearer makes a psychic attack, reroll a hit roll of 1, reroll a wound roll of 1, and reroll a damage roll of 1. Why are we getting Eldar rules with the GSC Acolyte? Okay. So, as a default secondary objective, at the end of your turn, if you choose Ineffable Agenda, you score 3 victory points if you control one or more objective markers that are not within your deployment zone and you did not control at the start of your turn. Or you could have a great destiny. At the end of the battle round, you score 10 victory points if one or more units from your army, excluding battleshot units, are wholly within your opponent's deployment zone. Okay, but they're both Eldari things. I was expecting GSC Acolytes. So we have Strands of Fate, which is another Eldari, which is their faction rule. I wasn't expecting to get all the Eldari stuff today. I was expecting all GSC Acolytes. So I'm not quite sure why this is working the way it is, but okay, we'll read through them. Strands of Fate. At the start of the battle, make a Strands of Fate roll by rolling 12d6. If you wish, you can then re-roll all these dice, but if you do, you roll 1 less. You can continue re-rolling all these dice in this manner, rolling 1 less d6 each time you do until you are satisfied with the results rolled, or until you only have a single d6 remaining. When you are satisfied with the results rolled, those remaining dice become your fate dice for the battle. These results cannot be changed or re-rolled further unless a rule specifically states otherwise. Keep your fate dice to one side. This is your fate dice pool. Before making a dice roll for a model or a unit from your army with the Strands of Fate ability, if you have one or more dice in your fate pool, you can use one of those fate dice. To do so, select one of those fate dice to substitute that dice roll. The dice that is being substituted is not rolled, instead the value is selected. The value of the selected fate dice is used as if it had been rolled. This counts as an unmodified dice roll for that value for all rules purposes. Each fate dice can only be used in this way once. After using a fate dice, remove it from your fate dice pool and roll all remaining dice that are part of that dice roll, if any. You can use fate dice for any of the following types of dice rolls: advance rolls, battle shock tests, charge roll, damage roll, hit roll, save roll, or wound roll. So even if you do roll low, that can sometimes be a good thing. You don't have to necessarily remove all the ones and then try and or reroll by because you got too many ones. Sometimes you can use it. You also get 3 stratagems. So we get whip fast reactions. The Fate Baker's battle tactic stratagem. When to use it is in your opponent's shooting phase or fight phase just after an enemy unit has selected its targets. You target with this stratagem 1 Eldari infantry or Eldari mounted unit from your army that was selected as the target of one or more of the attacking unit's attacks. The effect is, until the end of the phase, each time an attack targets your unit, subtract 1 from the hit roll. Excellent. Harder to hit, harder to wound. Storm of Shots is the next one, again 1 CP. You activate it in your own shooting phase, and you can select up to 2 Eldari mounted units from your army, or 1 Eldari infantry unit. Until the end of the phase, each time a model in one of those units makes an attack, add 1 to the hit roll. So, much more reliable shooting. Okay. Then you get Zephyr Swift. You use it at the end of your own shooting phase. Target again up to either 2 Eldari mounted units or 1 Eldari infantry unit from your army that is not in engagement range of enemy models. The effect, each of those units can make a normal move of up to 6 inches. Until the end of the turn, those units are unable for a charge, but you can move up, shoot, and move away again. Nice for the Eldar. Nice for the Eldar. Now we do have Genestealer Cult cards. So this should be the units that we'll be getting. So we already have the Magus, which we've been through already, with the Magus Stave, and the Auto Pistol, and Spiritual Leader, giving them anyone in his unit or her unit a 5+ feel no pain. We've just been through the Acolyte hybrids with the demolition charges and the heavy mining tool. Next week we'll be getting the Neophyte hybrids. Now these are movement 6, toughness 3, save 5+, which seems to be general across the Genestealer Cult's army. Only 1 wound, they are just guardsmen essentially. Leadership of 7 and an OC of 2, that's not bad. Ranged weapons. Now they have a fair selection of ranged weapons. So auto pistols, which we already know are hitting on force, strength 3, 1 shot, 1 damage, no AP. Hybrid firearm, which is a 24-inch range, other than that it's the same stat line as an auto pistol. A leader pistol, which is strength 4 instead of strength 3, that's the only difference. Heavy stubber, which has the rapid fire 3 keyword, oh that's nice. 36-inch range, 3 attacks, hitting on 4s, strength 4, no AP and 1 damage again. A seismic cannon, which has heavy, so if you stay still you get to add +1 to the hit roll, and it also has rapid fire 2. Oh that's nice. 24-inch range, 4 attacks, hitting on 5s, but if you stay still you're hitting on 4s. Strength 6, -1 AP and D3 damage. Not great on the AP side, you could do with an extra one, but strength and damage is quite nice. And then you get the Weber, which has devastating wounds and torrent. That's a nasty little combination. It's 12-inch range, D6 attacks of auto hitting because of the torrent rule. It's only strength 2, but any 6s to wound are devastating wounds. There's no AP and 1 damage. You're really relying on the 6s for that. Melee weapons. I'm going to guess it's only the leader of the unit who's going to get a power weapon. With 1 attack, hitting on 4, strength 4, -2 AP and 1 damage. And then you get a standard close combat weapon for everyone else. 1 attack, again, still hitting on 4s. Strength 3, which is a standard strength of a human. No AP and 1 damage. So they're not a particularly good melee unit. These are going to be the ones I think are going to be holding the objectives more than anything else. And then finally, because they've not been listed yet, we will be getting the Aberrants. Now these don't have a ranged weapon. They move 6 inches. They are toughness 6, which is quite tough for an infantry unit. Still got a 5+ save, but if you can pair them up with a Magus, then you get a 5+ invul. 3 wounds each, which means they're going to be tough to take out. Leadership 7 and an OC of 1. So they're not going to be holding objectives as well as the Neophyte hybrids, but I've got a feeling they're going to be clearing objectives quicker than the Neophyte hybrids. So as weapons go, you either get a heavy improvised weapon, which is 5 attacks, hitting on 3s, strength 6, no AP but 2 damage. Again, that no AP against things on a 3+ save or a 2+ save is not great. You can get a heavy power weapon, only 3 attacks instead of 5, still hitting on 3s, strength 8, which is nice definitely for wounding things like standard Space Marines on 2s and things like Terminators on 3s. Minus 2 AP, now that's a big difference. You're pushing things onto their invulnerable saves if they've got one, or pushing past if they've not. And 3 damage flat. That's a good weapon. You also get an hypermorph tail, which gives you extra attacks. It's only 1 extra attack, hitting at strength 5, no AP and 1 damage, but it's an extra attack as well as what you would normally get. And there is 1 more card left to do, which is the vehicle that they will be getting. So let's just take these cards out so I can put them up with the rest of them first. I've got a whopping great big stack of cards up there now. At least half a codex. At least. And I believe the last card will be the Goliath Rock Grinder, which is the vehicle that these guys get. Now, it's not giving me the bikes for the Attila Rough Riders. Yeah, it's not giving me the card for the bikes, which is odd. I might not get them till much later on. Like, I've got a lot of the Eldar stuff with the Gene Stealer cults. So, Goliath Rock Grinder. Obviously, with this being a vehicle, he's going to be moving faster, he's going to be much tougher, he's going to have a lot more wounds. So, movement 12. Yep, it's zipping across the board. Toughness 10, so it's not going down too easy. Save of a 3+. It does have 10 wounds, but if it's only got 3 left, then you subtract 1 from the hit rolls. Leadership of 7 and an OC of 3. Nice. It does have Deadly Demise D3, as well as a firing deck for 6 people. Its own range weapons, what has it got? It's got a Clearance Incinerator, which has Ignores Cover and Torrent. Oh, that's a 12-inch range, 2d6 attacks, with it having Torrent rule is automatic hits. Strength 6, minus 1 AP and 1 damage. Nice for clearing chaff infantry. You have Demolition Charge Cash. This one does not have the 1-shot rule, so you can use this over and over again. It does have the Assault, Blast and Hazardous keywords though. Again, 6-inch range, d6 plus 3 attacks, hitting on 5s, with a strength of 12, minus 2 AP and 2 damage. That's a nice little weapon there. You've got to be close to use it though. And then it does have a heavy stubber, just why not? Rapid Fire 3, 36-inch range, 3 attacks, hitting on 4s, strength 4, no AP and 1 damage. Here's the odd thing, it's a vehicle. It's a truck. It has a melee weapon, and it's a nice one as well. It has what's called the Drill Dozer Blade, which does have sustained hits 1, so if you roll any 6s on your hits, you get more hits. And you are getting 6 attacks, so you should get at least 1 extra hit out of it. Hitting on 3s, which is very nice. Strength 10, so it's even wounding itself evenly, that's good. Again, minus 2 AP and 2 damage. That can do a lot to the right targets. And the fact that it's going to have a transport capacity and a firing deck, that's going to be fun. We'll have to find out what his transport capacity is though. Because if he's got a firing deck, he's got to have a transport capacity. But there we go. That is everything that came in this week's issue. As I said, I won't be covering next week's issue on the standard day. I will be a week late with that because it's a double issue. But we do have the Acolyte hybrids already built up. So we have the leader with his all tentacly face. We have the charged dude with a weird brain thing on the back, going on the back of his head. We have the rock grinder guy with his big mask. And we have 2 standard hybrids with blade, claw and auto pistol. A nice little 5-man unit to go with the mega set we've already got. And over the next 2 weeks we're going to be getting another one, another 10-man unit. That episode's going to be a long one, just so you know, because it's going to be a full 10-man that I'm putting together. I'm covering 2 magazines. I'll split that over 2 streams just so I don't overwhelm everyone. But with the magazine being covered for this evening, thank you very much for everybody who's come to see me and spent time and asked questions, left likes, subscribed, and just come in and said hello. Thank you to all of you. I will see you tomorrow night, about the same time, 9:30, and if you're in the UK. And that will be for, obviously, the Magical World of Sparkles and Oak. I've got an idea what I'm doing with the door frames, and then I'll start working on the next character. But until then, which is, 22 hours away, so it's not that long. Thank you very much to everybody, and I will see you tomorrow night. Please drive safe, and see you later.
Every scar, every fear, they don't follow here. Empty streets where we used to run, every song we had begun. Though the echoes start to fade, still the meaning never strayed. Every silence feels so near, but I still know what I hear. Every shadow disappears when the static clears. When the static clears tonight, I will say the fading light. Every scar, every fear, they don't follow here. Through the noise I found a way. Every night becomes a day. Even when the fire dies, I still see it in your eyes. When the